everybody. We're doing something a little bit different for Living It this week.
Weird Al? Weird Al Yankovic? Yeah. No kidding! Weird Al still making parodies?
Yeah. So we were driving home a few days ago and there was this dude who was like hitchhiking.
He did this one on Michael Jackson's deal, you know, like, I'm bad, but he made it because I'm fat.
So we felt kind of bad for him and picked him up.
Another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus.
So actually, he's not a hitchhiker and we didn't pick him up. Well, we did. We picked him up in Detroit because he flew in.
You didn't.
Joe Goodwin.
We call him Saint Goodwin because he's so much of a happy person, and
he's gonna be canonized the
he
same
acts
day
like
he dies.
a saint a lot. So yeah, we call him Saint Goodwin.
He's really boring. Doesn't get excited about anything.
Yeah.
So woofer seems to be a large part of your vocabulary, and you have imparted this word on all of us. But I don't know what woofer means. So.
Well, you know, woofers is it's a flexible word. It can mean a lot of things. But it basically means like when something's really awesome or something's really crazy,
like boss?
Woofers. But see also like if something's like really crazy, you can just be like, woof.
So in the gospel, we have the multiplication of loaves and fishes. If loaves and fish represent our talents, when do you become aware of God in your loaves and fish?
Well, I'd say that happened during my freshman year of high school. So like I wanted to be joyful and have fun and have a lot of friends and, you know, be adventurous and stuff. But in my mind, I thought, oh no, but God can't want that. He must just want me to just not have any fun, not have any friends. But that was just how I imagined God being. And I went to a Steubenville conference my freshman year during the summer afterwards, and I just discovered that not only does God want me to be these things, but He actually created me to be these things. So that was quite a discovery for me, and it really started my spiritual life.
So how did that make things any different?
Well, it made everything different. When you realize that God is the source of these things that you love, it really opens up every interaction, every thought, every talent that you have can become a source of relationship building with Him and a source of interaction with Him, so that we're in this constant dialogue, you know, between Father and Son.
So in the story of the loaves and fish, Jesus not only gives them the loaves and fish, but then He asks them to bring them back to Him. So how has that worked out with your talents? It's a struggle, obviously, to, you know, God gives you something and it's cool and you kind of want to hold on to it, but how has that played out in your life?
I knew I had this talent for speaking and for engaging the youth, and I didn't know when to use it, how to use it, you know, in what capacity, with what organization. But I brought it to Jesus, just went before Him in the tabernacle, and He made it very clear to me that He wanted me to take a year off from this wonderful college that I was going to, and to go to Pennsylvania and, you know, be a chastity speaker and talk to the young people and help them to get their lives more in order.
And meet the Schleeters.
And meet the Schleeters. A huge added bonus.
And that led to seminary.
Yeah, it was quite a journey. I mean, before that, I was dating somebody, and you know, it was a good relationship. But, you know, again, just with laying things down before the Lord, He was just showing us that even though it was very good, it wasn't His will for us to keep dating and to get married. So, you know, so I laid that relationship before Him, the both of us did, and, you know, He called us apart. And then throughout the next year, just praying and discerning, coming to a deeper knowledge of myself, He showed me that my gifts and my talents and my desires are really geared for the priesthood, and that He wanted me to discern it now, to go to seminary now. So I picked up, you know, after Pennsylvania and went down to Denver, and I've been at the seminary since.
So to recap, God gives us our gifts and talents, or loaves and fish. He then asks for them back, and then He multiplies them. How has God multiplied your loaves and fish as a result of your yes?
Well, so many different times in my life. But for one example, you know, when I was a missionary in Pennsylvania, where I met you guys, that was the way it happened. Was you know, I gave Him the year, I gave Him my whole self, you know, everything that He'd given me, all of my talents and my abilities and stuff, and He just really multiplied it. You know, He allowed me to speak to thousands of kids over the course of that year, and so many came up afterwards. Their lives were touched. They told me that their lives have been changed by my coming, you know, and it was God's grace working through my gifts and my talents after He'd multiplied them.
You came to speak at my high school when I was a freshman, and the girls there were just in awe of what you were talking about because they had never heard about this concept before of chastity and abstinence, and they were surrounded by people steeped in sin and in sinful relationships, and even maybe they themselves, but your joy, and not like you're like, you know, yelling at them in their face obnoxious, but just the way you presented it was so simple and almost just commonsensical that you just like are like, okay, yeah, I want to live like that. And I know for a fact that, like, I mean, they still talk about it to this day, and their lives were changed and they make decisions differently now.
Personally, just your joy and your enthusiasm for God and the faith, it just, like, because a lot of people, faith is just like, there's a faith aspect of their life, and then there's that like kind of normal life, and you've like combined those so well. Like, faith is your life, and just how that faith really affects the life. I don't think it's possible not to be touched by your joy and your enthusiasm for God and for life.
Can I hear a woof 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 woof? So number one, God wants us to be mindful that every single gift we have, He has given us. Number two, He wants us to bring these gifts to Him. He wants to make His presence known through our gifts. How awesome is that? Number three, when we do, His grace is multiplied. I want to invite you to join us on this great adventure. Go right now to massimpact.us. Download the Living It Gathering Guide. It's a great way for families to talk, pray, and bond based on the next Sunday's readings. This Sunday, get real. The real presence of Jesus Christ at Mass. And remember,
God made you special and He loves you.